I heard my mother's wine glass hit the table before I heard what she said next. Amanda, when are you going to stop relying on this family for everything? 12 people. 12 sets of eyes at that long mahogany table in my parents' dining room in Charleston. My brother's smirk. My sister-in-law's tight little smile. My aunt pretending to study her salad. And my mother, sitting at the head like a queen delivering a verdict. I was 31 years old. I had a master's degree. I ran my own consulting business. I paid my own rent. I hadn't asked them for a dime in 6 years. But that Sunday, at their monthly family lunch, my mother decided it was time to remind everyone, especially me, that I would always be the disappointment. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I set down my fork, folded my napkin, and stood up. "Excuse me," I said quietly. I walked out of that dining room, grabbed my coat from the hall, and left. No one followed me. No one called. And that was the moment I realized I had been holding this family together with my bare hands, and they didn't even know it. If you've ever been the one who gave everything and got nothing back, drop a comment below. I want to hear your story, because what happened next changed everything. Let me back up. My name is Amanda Caldwell, and for most of my life, I believed family was everything. My parents raised me that way. Sunday lunches were mandatory. Holidays were orchestrated down to the minute. My mother ran the family like a corporation, and if you wanted approval, you performed. My older brother, Derek, was the golden child. Law degree from Duke. Partner at a firm in Charlotte. Married to Vanessa, who came from old Charleston money. They had 2 perfect kids and a house with columns. I was different. I studied sociology. I wanted to work in nonprofit consulting. I moved to a smaller apartment in North Charleston to save money while I built my business. I didn't marry the right kind of man. I didn't marry anyone. I asked questions at family dinners. I challenged my mother's opinions. And slowly, over the years, I became the problem. But here's the thing no one knew, I was the one keeping the lights on. When my father had his first stroke 4 years ago, I was the one who coordinated his care. I hired the physical therapist. I set up the medical billing. I rearranged my entire schedule so someone could be at their house every afternoon while my mother rested. Derek visited twice. When my mother's real estate investments started losing money, I was the one who quietly restructured her portfolio. I have a finance minor, she never acknowledged that. I spent 6 months untangling her mess, pulling her back from the edge of foreclosure on 2 rental properties. She never thanked me. She told people Derek helped with the family finances. And when my parents wanted to expand their house, add that sunroom, renovate the kitchen, they asked me to co-sign a loan because their credit was maxed. I was young, my credit was pristine, and they promised it was temporary. I signed. They never made a single payment. I'd been covering it quietly for 2 years, draining my savings so their credit wouldn't collapse. No one knew. I never told them. I didn't want to embarrass my parents. I didn't want to be the daughter who made everything difficult. But at that lunch, when my mother sneered at me in front of everyone and said I relied on them, something inside me went cold. I drove home in silence. My hands didn't shake. I didn't blast music or cry in the car. I just felt this strange, clear certainty settle over me like glass. I parked outside my apartment, walked inside, and made a cup of tea. Then I sat down at my kitchen table with my laptop and a stack of files. I pulled every document. Every bank statement. Every signed contract. The co-signed loan, $87,000 outstanding. My name was primary. They hadn't contributed a cent. The rental properties I'd saved, both in my mother's name, collectively worth about $540,000 now that the market had recovered. I had emails, dozens of them, where I'd done the work. Coordinated with contractors. Managed tenants. Renegotiated terms. My father's healthcare power of attorney, I was listed. Not Derek. Me. The family business, my father's small commercial property management company, semi-retired but still generating income, had me listed as an emergency contact and secondary signer on 2 accounts. I hadn't realized how deeply I was woven into their infrastructure. And then I found the will. My mother had updated it 8 months ago. I only knew because I'd been helping digitize their files when my father was recovering. The new will left the house, the properties, and the business to Derek. I got $10,000 and some jewelry. Vanessa, my sister-in-law, was named as executor. They'd cut me out. Quietly. Cleanly. While I was paying their bills. I closed the laptop. I didn't feel sad. I felt free. Monday morning, my mother called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Amanda, you were very rude yesterday. You embarrassed me in front of the family. I expect an apology. I deleted it. Derek texted, Mom's upset. You need to smooth this over. I didn't reply. Vanessa sent a message, too, you're being childish. It's not that serious. I blocked her number. For 3 days, I let them sit in silence. No explanations. No drama. I just disappeared. And while they waited for me to come crawling back, I got to work. If you're loving this so far, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you'll want to see how this plays out. I didn't want revenge. Not in the ugly sense. I just wanted out. Completely. Cleanly. And I wanted them to feel exactly what it was like when the person holding everything together let go. Step 1. I contacted the mortgage company about the co-signed loan. I explained that I'd been making payments under duress and wanted to explore my options. They suggested I could transfer the loan liability back to my parents if they refinanced, or I could stop paying and let it default under their name since they were the primary residents. I chose option 2. I stopped making payments. Immediately. Step 2. I called the property management company where my mother's rental properties were listed. I explained that I would no longer be managing her portfolio, effective immediately. I removed my contact info. I sent formal letters to her tenants stating I was no longer involved. One tenant, who'd been paying me directly to avoid late fees my mother never tracked, stopped paying altogether. Step 3. I contacted my father's healthcare team and formally resigned as his power of attorney. I transferred it to Derek. I made sure every hospital, every pharmacy, every specialist had his contact info. Then I stopped answering when my father's physical therapist called. Step 4. I removed myself from every emergency contact list. Every bank account. Every business document. I sent certified letters. I made copies of everything. And then I waited. It took 2 weeks. My mother called me 16 times. I didn't answer. Then Derek called. I answered on the 6th ring. Amanda, what the hell is going on? His voice was tight. What do you mean? Dad's doctor called me about his prescriptions. They said you're not his power of attorney anymore. Why would you do that? I thought you'd be better suited for it, I said calmly. Your family, after all. This isn't funny. Mom's freaking out. The tenants aren't paying. The mortgage company called about a missed payment. That loan was never mine, Derek. It was always theirs. I just stopped covering it. Silence. You what? I stopped paying their loan. I've been paying it for 2 years. Out of my own account. While Mom told everyone I was the one relying on the family. Amanda, you can't just. I can. I did. And I removed myself from the rental properties, the business accounts, and Dad's care team. It's all yours now. You're the golden child, right? You've got this. I hung up. My hands were steady. The next Sunday was the monthly family lunch. I didn't go. My mother called that morning at 10 a.m. Amanda, where are you? I'm not coming. Excuse me? I'm not coming to lunch. I won't be coming anymore. You will do no such thing. This family told me I rely on you for everything. So I'm giving you what you wanted. I'm standing on my own. Completely. Amanda Marie Caldwell, if you don't show up today. I hung up. I spent that afternoon at a cafe in Mount Pleasant, working on a client proposal. I ordered a glass of wine. I didn't think about them once. But they were thinking about me. Because by that evening, my mother had realized I wasn't bluffing. The mortgage company had sent a formal notice. The loan was 60 days overdue. If my parents didn't bring it current, it would go into default, and their credit would be destroyed. The rental properties? One tenant had already moved out without paying last month's rent. The other was threatening to sue because of a maintenance issue my mother had ignored for months. And my father's medication refill had been delayed because no one had signed the prior authorization forms. Derek called me that night at 9 p.m. Amanda, you need to fix this. No, I don't. Mom's crying. He's confused. He keeps asking for you. Then you take care of him, Derek. That's what family does. This is insane. You're punishing them because Mom said one thing. One thing? My voice stayed level, but I felt the anger flare. Derek, I have been paying their bills, managing their properties, coordinating Dad's care, and keeping this family running for years. And at every single Sunday lunch, I was treated like I was the burden. Like I was the failure. So I stepped back. If that breaks everything, it was already broken. He didn't have an answer for that. 3 weeks after I walked out of that dining room, my mother showed up at my apartment. I opened the door, and there she stood. Her hair was perfect. Her coat was tailored. But her eyes were tired. Amanda, she said quietly, we need to talk. I didn't invite her in. I'm listening. You're being incredibly selfish. I almost laughed. Selfish. Yes. You've put this entire family in jeopardy because your feelings were hurt. My feelings weren't hurt, Mom. My labor was stolen. She blinked. I carried this family for years. I paid your loan. I saved your properties. I took care of Dad. And you thanked me by cutting me out of the will and humiliating me in front of everyone. Her face went pale. How did you? I found the will. 8 months ago. You left me jewelry and $10,000. Derek gets everything. And you made Vanessa the executor. She opened her mouth. Closed it. So no, I'm not fixing this. You wanted me to stop relying on the family? Done. Now you get to see what it's like when I stop holding you up. I closed the door. If you've ever had to walk away from people who didn't value you, drop a comment and let me know how it felt. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because the next part is where everything falls apart. By week 5, the consequences were undeniable. The loan went into default. My parents' credit tanked. They couldn't refinance. The bank started foreclosure proceedings on the house. The rental properties? Both tenants left. My mother tried to manage them herself and realized she didn't know the first thing about tenant law, maintenance schedules, or lease agreements. She hired a property manager, who charged triple what I'd been doing for free. Derek tried to step in. He hired a financial advisor. But the advisor told him what I already knew: my parents were overleveraged, disorganized, and months away from bankruptcy. My father's health declined. Not catastrophically, but enough. Derek couldn't manage the doctor's appointments. He didn't know Dad's medications. He didn't know which physical therapist Dad trusted or which pharmacy delivered. My mother tried to fix it. She called me 11 more times. I didn't answer. She sent an email: "Amanda, please. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it." I didn't reply. Vanessa sent a message: "You're destroying this family." I wrote back, "No. I'm just not saving it anymore." 2 months after that Sunday lunch, my family held an emergency meeting. I wasn't invited. But Derek called me afterward. "Amanda." His voice was different now. Smaller. "We need your help." "No, you don't." "We do. Mom's about to lose the house. The properties are hemorrhaging money. He's not doing well. And none of us know how to fix this. You told me I relied on the family, Derek. Turns out, it was the other way around." Silence. "I know," he said finally. "I didn't see it. None of us did. Because you didn't want to. You're right." His voice cracked. "You're right, Amanda. I'm sorry." I sat with that for a long moment. "What do you want from me?" "Help. A plan. Anything. Please." I didn't give in easily. I met with Derek and my mother, not at their house. At a coffee shop in downtown Charleston. Neutral ground. My mother looked older. Thinner. Her hands shook when she picked up her cup. "Amanda," she said, "I was wrong. I said something cruel, and I didn't understand how much you'd been doing. I'm sorry. It wasn't enough. But it was a start. If I help you," I said slowly, "there are terms." Derek nodded. "Whatever you need. First, I want the co-signed loan refinanced into your names only. I don't care how you do it. Sell a property. Take a personal loan. But my name comes off. Done. Second, I want the will revised. Equal inheritance. If you don't think I've earned it, I'll take nothing, but you don't get to pretend I'm family when it's convenient and cut me out when it's not." My mother flinched, but she nodded. "Third, I will help you stabilize the properties and Dad's care. But I'm not doing it for free anymore. You'll pay me a consulting fee. Market rate. And you'll acknowledge, publicly, that I've been managing this family's finances and logistics for years." Derek swallowed. "We'll do it. And fourth," I said quietly, "you'll stop treating me like I'm the problem. You'll stop making me feel small at family dinners. You'll stop letting Vanessa speak to me like I'm a child. Or I walk, and I don't come back." My mother's eyes filled with tears. I didn't know I was doing that. Yes, you did. She looked down. We'll do better, Derek said. I swear. Over the next 3 months, I helped them. I restructured the loan. I brought in a real estate agent to sell one of the rental properties, enough to cover the debt and reset their finances. I took over Dad's care coordination again, but I hired a professional caregiver to share the load. I taught Derek how to manage the medical side. He actually learned. I reconnected with the property management company and offloaded the second rental to a professional team. My mother signed off without argument. And slowly, piece by piece, they started to stabilize. But things were different now. I wasn't doing it out of guilt. I wasn't doing it to earn love. I was doing it because I chose to, on my terms. And they knew it. 4 months after I walked out, I returned to Sunday lunch. I didn't announce it. I just showed up. My mother opened the door, and for a moment, she just looked at me. Amanda, she said softly. Hi, Mom. She pulled me into a hug. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a movie moment. But it was real. Inside, Derek stood when I entered. Hey. Hey. Vanessa didn't say anything, but she nodded. Small progress. My father smiled when he saw me. There's my girl. And for the first time in years, I sat at that table and didn't feel like I was shrinking. I felt like I was exactly where I belonged, because I'd chosen to be there. Not because I was obligated. Not because I was afraid. Because I wanted to. It's been a year now. My parents' finances are stable. The house is still theirs. My father's health is managed. Derek actually calls me for advice now, and listens. My mother and I have lunch sometimes. Just the two of us. She doesn't criticize. She asks questions. She's learning. The will was updated. Equal inheritance. My mother even apologized in front of the whole family at Thanksgiving. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. But it was honest. And I learned something important. Sometimes, the people who love you can't see you clearly until you step out of the frame. I was so busy holding everything together that I made myself invisible. The moment I let go, they finally saw what I'd been carrying all along. If this story hit home, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Your story matters, and I'd love to hear it. Here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. And you definitely don't owe anyone the right to make you feel small while you're holding their world together. Family is important. But family is also supposed to see you. To value you. To thank you. And if they don't? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for them and for yourself, is to step back and let them learn what life looks like without you carrying the weight. I didn't destroy my family. I just stopped saving them from themselves. And in the end, that's what finally brought us back together.